Ciao ragazzi, my name is Anthony. Thank you so much for joining me here back on Football Worldwide to talk Serie A. Bit of a different structure today for the Serie A roundtable, but I will be going around the grounds, around the cities, around the suburbs to a few friends of the channel and friends in general. It's going to be very good to hear their honest assessment. So don't stress. You don't have to look at my ugly mug the whole time. This is going to be a show where I give my very short opinions on the fixtures and how we're sitting at match day 30. Newsflash, it's not good. It's not good for the ragazzi back here, but we'll get there. We'll get there, and we'll go through this show nice and unbiased. So why not just start at the top of the table, top of the form, top of the vibes. Pioli truly is on fire, and he's absolutely killing it, man. You got players like Francesco disrespecting the club and signing contracts with Barcelona in the background. I don't think these guys give a shit, and that's fantastic. Losing him for free is not good, but the way that they're handling the situation at the moment on the pitch, it's very admirable. There's a long time left to go. It's still a long time for them to drop the ball as well. Thank you very much to the 7 people that are tuned in live at the moment. Drop a comment so I know who's here, and definitely subscribe if you are new. I did share this one a little bit more around Twitter, so hopefully it might get a couple of new people as well. They're on fire. They're leading the Campionato by, I know that they've got Inter's number by 6 points, albeit we have a game in hand, but it's not like we would guarantee that we'd win that game in hand at the moment. So it's pretty much being done by Milan setting the pace, and Napoli look like the only ones that will be able to catch up. But my opinion doesn't matter anywhere as much as my friend Anthony's does from Melbourne, and he's going to give us an honest assessment from the Milanisti point of view. I'm sure he's on top of the world, and just like all of these fan cams that I'm bringing tonight, I've only actually seen the first maybe 1 or 2 minutes from most of them, so I'm sure there's some material in there that'll make me smile as well. So cheers, Anth. I really appreciate it. Take it away.
Ciao ragazzi, it's Anth here. Can't get on the show tonight, but sending you a quick video just with some of my thoughts on Milan's season at the moment and the weekend's game. Look, first, pretty happy that we, get another 3 points away to Cagliari. But I'm refusing to say that this scudetto race is done. This is going to go down to the wire. I'm refusing to write off Inter. I don't think they're out of it yet. Yes, they're going through a bad patch, but with an extra game in hand, they're only 1 game behind us after that. So I think if you look at the top 3, I think they're still well and truly in this race, and the scudetto will go down to the wire with a couple of games to go. We've got a tough run of games coming up, so nothing's done yet. Look, pleasingly, if you look at our last 4 games, we haven't conceded a goal. If you include the Coppa Italia semi-final first leg against Inter, we've actually had 4 clean sheets, which is a credit to Kalulu, who's come in for most of those games, and he's been a revelation there. Stepped into some big games against Napoli and Inter in the derby, in the Coppa Italia derby. So a great. Well, I wouldn't even call him cover anymore. I'd say that he's earned his spot, and he deserves to stay there till the end of the year, which means that Romagnoli probably has to hit the bench. Sunday's game, look, we should have won that probably 3 or 4. And my biggest concern is, although we're defensively quite strong, one lapse in concentration there at the end, and they hit the bar with a couple of minutes to go. You drop 2 points easily there. We're just not putting teams away. We did it against Empoli last week, 1-0, and it was a bit dangerous towards the end. And again this week, although we should have been 2 or 3 up, we just struggled to put them away. Your luck will run out eventually. So you really got to get on top of those games and get the second and third to secure the win. I think top 4's secured now, which is good, so we can try and focus on this scudetto. Get a break now with the international World Cup qualifiers this weekend, and then come back and hopefully continue this run. Big credit to Maldini with what he's done with his squad. I read somewhere yesterday that he's reduced our wage bill significantly. So, from finishing 5th with a really high wage bill to being now top with a lower wage bill is a credit to him. His signings have been very smart, very calculated, and I think with a couple more next year, we can be even more dangerous as a team in Serie A and hopefully in Europe. But look, overall, I'm pretty happy with Milan. There's a long way to go. Diaz has to find form. Leao has to remain consistent. Giroud needs to score consistently, and Kalulu keeps his form up. Benacer looking very, very good, as I've said all year. I really want to see him and Tonali in the middle. Tonali was sick this week, so Kessie got another run. But I think Benacer is starting to find that form that we know he's got. So if those players that I mentioned can continue this form, no reason why we can't win the scudetto. But, you know, there's so long to go. But it's great to be top after so long, you know, and hopefully get our first scudetto in a decade, which would be a massive achievement for Pioli and crew. Hope you're all well. I'll try and get on one of our sessions soon. Be nice to get back. And Forza Milan. Ciao ragazzi.
Thanks, Anth. Fantastic stuff, man. Always so realistic. And I would have to agree for the most part. Maldini's job at reducing that wage bill has been absolutely phenomenal. I think he's reduced it by something like 67 million or something like that. That's absolutely phenomenal. The players really know the weight of playing for the Milan badge. And it's starting to show, bro. It's starting to show, like, no nonsense sort of mentality. A level where cutting your losses at some point seemed a little unproductive when you lose Hakan and Donnarumma for free. But saving on those wages and just making sure that the Milan mentality carries forward and every player knows the value of that badge on the chest, that can only pay dividends in the end. And even though you guys went out in the group stage of the Champions League, you did pocket a little bit of prize money just from being in the Champions League and winning a game or two. So happy days ahead. And, you know, whoever does win the Scudetto at the end of the season, one thing is rest assured, Milan's in a good place. They're in a place where they can go ahead next season and win it, which is still pretty much the case for any of the top four sides, considering the relative strength of Serie A. But seeing Milan do this, yeah. Ashwin's in the chat. It's good to see you on this platform, bro. Seeing Milan top is really shitting my mental health. It is, but you got to be happy for friends like Anth in just the slightest manner. So big ups to them. All right, Roma, the eternal derby. The scoreline is reversed. Man, that flying eagle is going to be waiting to peck eyes out of the Lazio players when they get back on that training camp, man, because that was abysmal. It was dismal. And not only 3 big goals, but 3 big points for Mourinho and his boys. The boys on screen right now, like Tammy Abraham, he's an absolute beast. He is a beast. If I was my friend Adam, I would be significantly worried that there's some sort of fine print size 2 Helvetica clause in the contract at Chelsea that allows him to come back. Hopefully Chelsea remain in the pits to the point for you that, like, maybe the transfer for Tammy becomes like 100% permanent and all those clauses are relinquished, because he's sort of performing like a phenomenon, man. He's really, really good. Chris Smalling's form at the moment, when he is in form, he's instrumental to that back line. It's Mourinho. So for me, anytime Roma pick up a win this season, I've actually got half a smile on my face. And that free kick from Pellegrini is just absolutely dope from all angles. I can't get over it. It's one of the best free kicks I've seen in Serie A for a long time. It's definitely the best free kick I've seen this season. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. There's 9 people here on Football Worldwide and stretching across into Worldwide as well. So thank you. If you are watching on Inter Worldwide, I encourage you to switch over to this platform, Football Worldwide, and like and subscribe. Also, if you're the one watching on the Twitch, I really want to know who you are. So let me know. But that's all for me regarding Roma, and who else but to speak about this but our character and our friend Adam. So take it away, man.
Roma, che ci fai piangere, abbracciarci ancora. Grazie Roma. Oh, sono 3 papri, tutti a casa. Abbiamo vinto noi derby. Buonasera a tutti. Still celebrating that majestic performance by my lads in what was probably one of my favourite derbies that I've seen, actually, only because when you watch the match back, you just see that we dominated from start to finish. It was just one of those games where we just didn't put a foot wrong for the entirety of the game. And anyone that watched that would agree that it was just one side out there. So yeah, for me it was unreal, unbelievable. I've watched every single clip, whether it's on social media or on YouTube. And had some friends that actually attended the game as well, and you see them there, and what they witnessed was absolutely beautiful. Look, if we want to dissect the game, it was really set up in that first minute when Tammy Abraham latched onto a loose corner there in the box, and that really set the tone, I think, for the game. Nerves are never put at ease when you're watching Roma play, but if you see when you see the game played in Lazio's half of the majority and having complete control, it was actually allowed Romanisti, and I've heard this from a few Romanisti now, that it actually allowed us to enjoy the game more than we would have otherwise, because as we know as football fans, when your team's playing and the game's on edge, you're not really enjoying it. You're there, you're present in the moment, but you're not really enjoying it. But this one was a little bit different, especially when that second goal went in. Credit goes to Bronquistante in this game, who I think had his most decisive game of the season, only because he's much maligned by a lot of Romanisti. I know he's still featured in Mancini's squad, and he's still an international, but he's putting some really horrible shifts this season, so you never know what we're going to get out of him. But he was instrumental and dominated that midfield. He was a real general there for us, and he set up that second goal where he played the ball out wide to Rick Karsdorp. He took a touch and played it into Tammy, who got great position. Found himself alone at the back post and volleyed it and hammered it into the goal. And from there, it was, even more so, we just continued to dominate. And, what can we say about Lorenzo Pellegrini? I won't say it was a high pressure situation because we were already 2 goals up, but, from that distance and being able to put the ball right there in Italian, we say the incrocio dei pali, right at that spot where the crossbar meets the post, from that distance, and Strakosha just had no chance. And, he's really improved his free kick taking in the last 12 months. He's been our designated taker for a little while now, between him and Jordan Veretout, but Veretout can't get near that ball now because Pellegrini's just become, this free kick taker out of nowhere. Credit to him, because he must be practicing, he must be putting in extras on the training track at Trigoria. For a good part now of the last 1 to 2 years, because he's just he's now become this really dangerous weapon for us when we get these free kicks outside the box. A lot of them are on target, so it's either going to go in or we're forcing the keeper to make a save. So brilliant from him again. And then from then on, we controlled the majority of that second half, I'd say. We still had a couple of chances. But that was it. And, celebrations were just huge after that. Players at the Curva, players taking these massive flags from the Curva and waving them on the track underneath the Curva Sud, which was just brilliant to see. This connection between the players and our fan base continues, and it's been a constant, not only this season but over our history, but more so this season, because like I've said in the past, we've had the sold out sign outside the Olimpico pretty much every home game this season. So the last thing I want to touch on was the rise of a youngster coming through our ranks in Nikola Zalewski, Roman born, Polish international. He started the game, which was a bit of a gamble by Mourinho, but it certainly paid off because he was brilliant. He had a chance in that first half where he could have scored, but he scuffed the shot and went straight to Strakosha. But otherwise, he was resolute on that wing, and he really nullified Felipe Anderson until Anderson was substituted in that second half. So he's certainly one to look out for now in the future, playing ahead of El Shaarawy and Mateus Vinha on that side. And that was it. Mourinho in his post-game, brimming from ear to ear, as you expect. He did make mention for us that we really need to keep our feet grounded now. He said, we've won a derby. It's not like we won the Champions League, which is true, but for us Romanisti, who are starved of success most of the time, this is really one to relish and be proud of, and to continue to celebrate, because it's always a good day when you get to rub it into your friends that are Laziali, and I've certainly done that in the last 24 hours. So I'll continue to celebrate until next time.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Absolutely love it. There's no reason why you shouldn't be happy. 15 wins this season in 30 games, 50 goals scored, 51 competition points, 3 wins in the last 5. Connection to the coach is great. The only thing I'd say is that, like, you're still finding your tactical identity on the pitch in a way, which is sort of like the opposite to what Maurizio Sarri has. Maurizio Sarri knows exactly what he wants to implement on the pitch, and Lazio are trying their best to play that way, but there's a certain disconnect in the club culture at the moment there, and I'm sure some Laziali could prove me wrong in saying that. I was just talking from a bystander and an outsider's point of view, but good points raised by Adam. But that Pellegrini free kick, guys, if you haven't watched it yet, I don't know what planet you're on. Go and watch that free kick. It was absolutely amazing. Good morning to Amira. Good to hear from you again. Always good to hear from you again. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We've got 7 people tuned in on Inter Worldwide and stretched across football worldwide right now. Moving on from Roma, but there's that example, that connection with the fans. Again, at the moment, they were so loud pre-match. It really was like the Colosseum in there. Really, really was. It was really good to see. Great coverage as well. Let's move on. Juve 2, Salernitana 0. It's this dude who scores the goals, and 2 days later, it's this dude who's announced that he won't be renewing his contract. La Jolla leaves for free. We're going to do a couple of different videos in this situation here. I've got one from our friend Michael, who's going to pretty much talk about Juve in general at the moment and what the result means and what they're going through as well. He gives his own sort of spin on the Dybala situation. And then we'll also hear from another friend from the channel as well. So Salernitana obviously not able to put a fight towards Juventus. Juventus were always going to get these 3 points. And now they must be really thinking that any sort of slip up from Milan or Napoli, or well, do you have to wait for a slip up from Inter? Newsflash, you've been going through it for the last month or so. So they're definitely in a position coming up to face Inter after the international break to continue a late surge for the scudetto. And there is absolutely no way that I will count them out until the math says so. So a good win for them. Let's hear a little bit from our friend Michael, and then we'll move into talking about the Paulo Dybala situation. Cheers, Mick.
Hi, guys. It's Michael Amendola here, returning as a guest on Football Worldwide. Thank you very much, Anthony, for giving me the platform. Today, we're going to talk about Juventus. Anthony's giving me the platform to talk about my beloved Juventus, and we're going to talk about how we're going at the moment and our last couple of results. And yeah, just pretty much where I think Juventus is going to end up towards the end of the season, how we're going to finish the season off. So obviously, we'll start off with the Salernitana game. Obviously, good to bounce back after disappointing and embarrassing loss in the Champions League to Villarreal. I feel like, players that probably should have stepped up a week before stepped up against Salernitana, and it is what it is, At least we got the 3 points. It was a home game, so it was good to pick up those 3 points. So, a couple standard players always playing a good game. You got Vlahovic, Dybala played well. De Sciglio played a great game. Artur played another great game. Your stock standard ball winners and ball players just played well because we're versing a lower Serie A team, pretty much a Serie B team. So, of course, they're going to get more of the ball and, pretty much get those passes that they would normally not get against a bigger team. It was good to see him move the ball, especially with De Sciglio and Artur. I'm talking mainly about here. But as for Vlahovic, it was good to see him score another goal, and probably could have had another one. Same with Dybala. He was good that he scored, but did miss a sitter as well. It's just very disappointing at the moment. Obviously, the way we bombed out of the Champions League. Me personally, I didn't think we were going to go exceptionally far in the Champions League. I don't think we have the manpower and the capabilities to do so. But I did expect Allegri to improve the team because that's what we brought him in for. We didn't bring him in to end up in the same situation as last year and the year before. We brought him to do better this year, and that's why we've gone ahead and purchased Vlahovic, and why we've gone and got Zakaria as well, and even got Federico Gatti for the following. We purchased these players because we want to improve this year as well. And at the moment, it hasn't been that way, and it's not looking good. In my opinion, if we finish anything less a third, which would be an improvement from last year, I think Allegri might have to go. I know we've signed him on a 5-year deal and it's worth a bit of money, but at the end of the day, there's other clubs in the world like PSG, Chelsea, even Man United. That's the last thing they worry about. It's all about the results and how the team's going at the moment. They're not caring about what they're putting into a coach. If a coach is not performing, not getting the best out of the players, he's gone. And that's how Juventus needs to be. If we're just concerned about paying him money that he's going to be earning the next 5 years, that's our own fault. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't mean that we start slipping further down the ladder and we play terribly like we did against Villarreal and a few other Serie A games this year, like we did against Empoli, when we lost against Hellas Verona. That was another embarrassing loss, and we drew at home to Torino. Those are the sort of games that you need to be winning, and we haven't been. And it's been not that the fact that we haven't been winning, but there was times in that game where we were getting dominated, and that's when we got to start working with, obviously we have players that need to go. Rabiot has been rubbish for us recently, to say the least, to say it bluntly but rudely, but it's a fact. We've got one less centre back available because we got rid of him. We gave him to Atalanta in that Demarai. We loaned him out with an obligation to buy, and we lack the fullbacks that big teams like Liverpool have, Paris Saint-Germain have, even Inter Milan has better fullbacks than what we do, and even AC Milan, and that's what we lack. And unfortunately for the future of football, you need those sort of, you need those sort of players to add to your attack, and that's where we are falling behind against a lot of these other big clubs. And as you can see, against Villarreal, we struggled to have that extra, striking factor about us, and it got a bit too much. And a lot of it to do with the tactics, a lot of it to do with the players, but at the end of the day, Juventus needs to regroup and work out a way where we can come out of this. And whether it's a change of management to go for something quite different, not giving players new contracts, who knows? Dybala is another example at the moment. A lot of talk about him. He's not going to be signing a new contract. I think it's quite selfish, to be honest with you, the way he's been acting the last year with his on-field antics and off-field antics. You can call it a conspiracy theorist, or you can say whatever you want, but the injuries he's been getting, some of them have been due to muscle fatigue. There's been players in Juventus that...
Well said, man. And I don't know why that one cut off towards the end. I didn't do that. But thanks, Lord Figo, for coming in the chat. We all see you. We all hear you. And the reason I like you, Lord Figo, is that you listen. You genuinely listen to everything that's happening in every video and reply to it. So a bit of banter in the chat there. I couldn't resist putting one of his comments up during Michael's comment. But very well said, man. I would think the situation with Demiral, I said it at the start of the season when you sent him on loan. I'm like, this is a horrible decision. This is a 0 out of 10 decision. You are letting go literally the centre back that could really save you when you've got an injury to a first teamer, which is inevitable. Like, in hindsight, Italy winning the Euros was really shitty for Juventus's defense, because it really gave that illusion that Giorgio Chiellini and Leonardo Bonucci were going to play 38 games back to back, side to side, left, right, center with each other. And that was never going to be the case. Absolutely never going to be the case. Overall, with the Dybala situation, we'll hear a contrarian opinion from our friend Francesco Ciccio. And I'm looking forward to that one as well. But you guys let me know in the comments if you're watching this video back. That's a very important point, and the most important point for the Juventus conversation today is, where do you see La Jolla going? Me personally, I think Barcelona would be the ideal location, not only for him, but Barcelona's model, the way that they're working at the moment. It's all about free transfers, because liquidity is not an issue for Barcelona. That badge on the chest can lure players in, and as long as they don't have to chuck up money up front to skew their books, everything's going to be fine. A couple of examples of that: Adama Traore has taken like a 65% pay cut from Wolves to go to Barcelona. Why? Because it's Barcelona. Pierre Aubameyang getting 300k a week from Arsenal and doesn't even want to rock up to training. signs for Barcelona, takes a 50% pay cut, scoring every single game, turning up to training, playing like a real professional, loves it. Why? Barcelona. Francesco refuses to sign a new contract with Milan for anything under 8 million a season. And then we got rumors coming out that Inter are prepared to offer 8, Juve are prepared to offer 8, and Kessier is prepared to hold them to ransom. Barcelona come along and offer 6 with a shitty bonus. Done. Signed. Why? Barcelona. That badge has got more pull and more influence than any other club in the world, besides maybe Real Madrid. There is no English club that can compete with those two in the lure of the badge, nor in Italy. These two clubs, Madrid and Barcelona, will take and get anybody for that. Dybala hasn't played in Spain yet. It's his time to go to Spain. I know the Premier League will be very, very keen on him. The Premier League will be very, very keen on him, especially clubs like maybe Spurs, because he's has he played under Conte? He did go to Juve under Conte, I'm pretty sure. Did he sign for Allegri? Was he one of Allegri's first signings? I could be 1 year late on that. I don't know. Someone can fact check me later. But I think the Premier League next. Is he a chance to go to Inter? Of course, there's a chance, but I'm not losing sleep over this one. We Inter fans know what we need to sort out in the back room before we go anywhere near a transfer like this. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Any one of the 3 clubs pictured on the screen could be a destination for Dybala. Liverpool, I think he's sort of had a little bit of a connection with them. He might be a slight Liverpool fan. I don't know why anyone would be a Liverpool fan. Man United, no chance. But it would really suit his personality profile and his attitude at the moment to go to an absolute wasteland like that is performing so under par in terms of stigma and expectations. That is absolutely laughable. The only thing that is even slightly lurable about Tottenham Hotspur is Antonio Conte. Once he leaves, that place becomes an absolute wasteland as well, and a dumpster for anybody that nobody wants to be at Spurs. Kulusevski doesn't want to be at Spurs. Bentancur doesn't want to be at Spurs. Nobody wants to be at Spurs. Harry Kane doesn't want to be at Spurs. Even Conte doesn't want to be at Spurs. It is what it is. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure a Spurs fan would challenge me on it. But there's one man that's going to challenge the opinion of that it's all doom and gloom that Paulo Dybala is leaving, and that's our friend Ciccio Pasticcio. So he's going to come at you with a contrary opinion about Dybala. I hope you enjoy. I know I will.
Paulo Dybala is finally leaving Juventus. I'm happy to be hearing those words. I have been calling for this for a couple of years now. This guy is not Juve material. He is not the number 10 material, and he's definitely not Juve captain material. Not even a shadow of Del Piero, the player that he was, even towards the end of his career. Dybala, he says he loves the club, he loves the colours, but yet he's not even willing to sign a decent contract and earn your bonuses. There's no wonder, no surprise that the club went back on their initial agreement, because this guy was just always on the physio table, never there in the crunch times of the season, goes missing in the big games and shows up against Salernitana. Please, I've seen enough. I had seen enough for a long time, and yeah, I'm just happy that he's gone. He's loved by many, but yeah, just it's about time he's gone. The only thing I am disappointed about is the way that it's happened. Look, he was signed for about 41 million, and he's going for nothing. You got other players that are in similar circumstances. Benedeschi, another 40 million, potentially going for free. Higuain signed for 90, gone for free. Ronaldo, 120 odd, almost gone for 15 million. So look, if there's anyone to blame and to point the finger at, it's got to be the president, Agnelli. I think it's time for him to go. Someone else to come in and change the way we run the club. He's done great, but I think it's just time for more change. But yeah, just reinvest the money that would have been given to Dybala in the midfielder, because that's what we need. Our problem definitely isn't scoring the goal. We've got obviously a great striker now in Vlahovic, but we need a quality midfielder, somebody like Milinkovic-Savic, to come in and completely change the way that we play. And a decent striker, someone we've been linked with recently is Raspadori. I'd take him, or I'd take Escamacca, someone like those two. Even Berardi, that guy, we had the chance to get him. He would completely change the way this team sets up. There's talk of Zaniolo. Look, he'd be okay, but would come at a decent price. But I'd definitely go for a bigger name in the midfield. Milinkovic-Savic, at the top of my list. More rumours about Pogba. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but at the end of the day, can't wait for the season to be finished. Can't wait for Dybala to be gone. That look that he gave to the directors up in the crowd that game was just the final straw for me. And he's just been on and off the pitch ever since then. So, Paolo, thanks for your service.
Yeah, thanks, Chich. Always appreciated, man. Very, very good stuff. I'd have to agree for the most part. If I was in your position, if I was in a Juventini's position, then that's exactly how I'd be feeling about this brother. But the fact of the matter remains is that he is gone. He is leaving. And you guys are losing your best player for free. And it is another example of poor management. And I know a lot of the Juventini are ready to face those facts and admit those facts that management is poor at the moment. But hey, things are still not all doom and gloom there, because the targets are still going to come to that club. They're a very attractive club. Dusan Vlahovic held out for them and made sure that he got there at any way, shape or form, even if it meant burning bridges in the entire city of Florence, entire city of Firenze. They've got no problem attracting talent. In regards to the talent that he mentioned, Paul Pogba, I think he's dead, bro. Honestly, like, that's a classic example of being at your physical potential peak 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 2016-ish, like mid-2016, just as he leaves Juventus. As he exits Juve, Paul Pogba is the potential bubble waiting to bust into his peak. He's just a shadow of his former self back in Manchester. Yeah, he went to a club with less organizational structure and efficiency than Juve at the time, but it's no real excuse for his lack of fitness and form. It's just facts what it is. Look at Lord Figo in the chat just popping off left, right, and center. Dybala left because of those ugly yellow jerseys, man. We had one of those last season as well. All right, Lord Figo, time to humble yourself. Yeah, that's enough banter towards the other clubs for one video, I think. It's been 33 minutes. We're going to wrap up after the next few games. Arturo Vidal in the mud. Simone Inzaghi in the mud. Inter in the mud. It has been absolutely horrible. We have something like 8 competition points in the last potential 24. Our last victory, besides the Salernitana mugging, which I did not celebrate for good reasons. I said in chats, I'm like, why are you guys celebrating, man? Why are you guys celebrating? You celebrate when you get 3 points against Torino and Fiorentina, because if we're coming back with anything less than 4 or 6 out of those games, we are in deep merda. And that's exactly where we are at the moment. We're in deep shit. We've surrendered all sorts of automatic profile to the scudetto. We've surrendered all sort of basic like mental or psychological challenge, because we have the same run of form and the same run of form as Salernitana and as Cagliari. There he is once again, always popping on the Inter Worldwide channel. Today he's on Football Worldwide, making sure everything is held down. Lord Figo, my scudetto, Forza Inter. It's not going to happen, bro. I really don't think it's going to happen. And if we had any other side but Juventus in Turin this weekend, I would still think there might be a slight chance of psychologically edging ourselves back up there. It's not looking good, man. This weekend could put a mental nail in the coffin of Inter. The game itself, we were sluggish moving the ball up. Our last-minute decision-making was poor. Without Brozovic, it was always going to be hard. And Nico Barella was frustrating, trying to do too much. Hakan needed to be better, although he wasn't bad, he wasn't great. And sometimes you need greatness to move on and win a scudetto. It's getting tough. The only thing Lautaro Martinez can finish cooking is a barbecue. That's all. He can't. It's not happening. Get out of here. People celebrating his hat-trick against Salernitana. I told people not to get too gassed up. Ciccio Pasticcio just said, what, you turn up against Salernitana, please, about Dybala. If he's setting those standards, we are the campioni, we are the champions. I'm setting those standards as well. Don't just turn up against Salernitana and keep missing for the whole season where it actually counts, yeah? That goes for everybody in this Inter side. It's absolutely not good enough. Denzel Dumfries has been good. He's the bright spark and the one positive that I want to talk about. I think his tactical awareness and positioning is better than Achraf Hakimi. He's not better than Achraf Hakimi. I'm not saying that for any Inter fans that watch this. But the result itself is bad, where we are sitting on the table is not detrimental to the short-term future or the long-term future, because sustainability and qualifying for the Champions League is the ultimate goal of any of these four sides going for the scudetto. We always remember that. But we spent the majority of the important part of the season in front. We had the form. We had the run-in going into February. We dropped the ball. I know my friend Jackson also thinks we dropped the ball, and I'm really keen to hear his point of view. I've really enjoyed watching these fan camps because there was so much that was said in them that I hadn't heard yet. So let's go over to Jackson, which I've only heard the first 30 seconds of. Take it away, my G.
Jackson here for Football Worldwide. Look, I just want to start with the Fiorentina game. Obviously, I don't think we played that badly. I thought we moved the ball quite well, and we got them into the areas where we could score. There was just that lacking edge of being able to put the ball in the back of the net, which seems to be a bit of a pattern evolving with us as of late. Now, whether that's because Dzeko's struggling to hold the ball up as a target man, whether it's because Lautaro is, he's lacking confidence, it could play a major part. Sanchez being inconsistent as he always has been throughout his career, except for Arsenal. We can point the finger at a lot of different things, and it's up to Inzaghi now to really kind of get that formation right and possibly try something different, because we're going on a run now of 7 games where we've got barely 4 points, and it's just not good enough to be competing for the scudetto title. Now, on that, I still feel that we have a good chance and we're in a good position to still contend for that. I feel like Inter play their best football when we're tested the most. We saw that against Liverpool. The pressure was almost off because everyone had written us off. So I feel like the papers have already written us off against Juventus. So I feel like we can kind of shock them and shock the world and get a bit of a run going there. So look, call me optimistic, but I feel like we can still push through and still be contenders. The season's not over yet. There's only a handful of games left, but we've seen Milan and we've seen Napoli drop points consistently throughout the season. Now, not that we want to rely on that for ourselves, because that's a loser mentality. We just need to do what we need to do, and that's beat every team that's put in front of us from here on out and let the other teams crumble, which we've seen them do leading up to this point regardless. So, look, we've got some important games coming up and the second leg of the Coppa Italia as well. So big results needed, and I feel like we can get some big results. Forza Inter.
Bro, I need more Jackson on the Inter Worldwide platform. That's for damn sure. Lord Figo coming for some of your merch and for your sneakers as well. For the Reggie Millers. Nice one. Well said from Jackson. It's definitely not over, not by a long shot, because there are still games left. But mentally, we might be psyched out of it edgewise if we don't get 3 points in Turin. And that's such a big ask, man. It's been a decade, hasn't it, since we won in Turin? Almost a decade. So you're asking us to go there and perform our best for our toughest fixture on paper, you could argue. So as optimistic as you are, brother, I'm going to have to bring us back down to that pessimistic level, but we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll be on Roundtable next week with some more positivity. It's time to talk about the phenomenon that is Victor Osimhen. He's fantastic. Napoli weren't fantastic, but they were good enough, and that's all that counts. With a guest like Zio Armo on the channel, I really don't even need to talk about Napoli. I had a nice weekend out, though, and met a Napoli dude who was a waiter at a really good restaurant, and he was over the moon with how well they were playing, and it made me happy to talk about Spalletti with him in such a positive way. So as much as I love seeing Mourinho succeed and happy more than Spalletti, I'm still really happy to see Spalletti happy, because he is a true gentleman. We can attribute a fair bit of our Inter's uprise to gentleman Luciano. So take it away, Zio Armo. I'm sure you've got something great to say about your boys.
Good day, Anthony, and good day to all the Football Worldwide fans. Thank you very much for this little segment that I'm part of right now. Could not be live because I'm busy at work. I'm between clients, so I'm gonna give you my 2 cents about Serie A and try to keep it below 2 minutes. Very happy about Napoli result, of course. Very happy to see Fabian Ruiz and Insigne finally take off the pitch and sit on the bench. Insigne should be sitting there until he goes to Canada. It doesn't serve us. It's useless for Napoli. We've been playing with a man down every time he's on the park. I don't care what you guys saying. He scored 1 goal the whole season in normal play. The rest have been coming from penalty. He does only one thing. He keep passing the ball back to Mario Rui, and Mario Rui keep passing the ball back again. We don't need him. We're playing bad with him. Napoli's been winning game every time he's been taking off. Check the last 8 months of Napoli, and you will see every time Insigne was come off, Napoli start playing better. Same for Fabian Ruiz. Everybody got nuts about Fabian Ruiz and capabilities to score beautiful goal from outside the pitch. Hats off to him. It's great. He scored 6 or 7 goals like that. But he's my midfielder, and I need him to play for 89 minutes in the middle, not score the goal in 1 minute. I got other people that can score goal. He doesn't play in the middle. He does no recovery. He's slow on the ball, slow down the whole movement. In fact, as soon as he come out with the Anguissa and Lobotka together at the back, and Zelinski or any mezzapunta or Mertens behind the striker, Napoli's another level. No one can beat us. So Spalletti, please have the guts to leave Insigne home until the end of the season and Fabian on the bench for a few minutes. Serie A will be decide the last 5 games. Whatever happened from now to the last 5 games, in my opinion, Serie A will be decide the last 5 games. Forza Napoli, and see you next time, guys.
Grazie, Zil. Fantastic stuff. Yeah, absolutely, Lord Figo. He's going in every single time, calling it exactly how it is. But a lot of players, like what he didn't mention was a lot of players that Napoli that have just really ground out those last 3 points for them. Like Politano's in good form when he's on the pitch for them. I love seeing that because he was a true gentleman at Inter as well, always doing what he was told. And I think he could have served an important role come the future. But who knows, tactically, we weren't really set up to suit him. But I just really think that Anguissa is having a fantastic season. Osimhen is just an absolute phenomenon. And I would have to agree with like the Insigne slander from Zioarmo. It's just so weird seeing Insigne trying to fake that passion for the city and the club, as I think Adam might have said on one of our shows a few weeks back. And we all know that you've already signed for a team in Canada, bro. Like, stop trying to fake it, man. It's becoming pathetic, but something that's not pathetic is this guy, man. He's an absolute beast. He's a more slim, fast version of Romelu Lukaku, and he's just a gun. That's a really good topic for discussion, actually. Osimhen's season this season or Lukaku for Inter last season? Who do you think's had the better season? I think it's something that you probably have to wait till the last game to see if Osimhen can get that accolade under his belt. But another really good game from him. 3 more points for Napoli, 3 more points for Spalletti. It's match day 30, and they're still firmly in the scudetto race, which is more than most people and most Napoli fans expected. So they're doing the job. They're looking at 5th place. They're waiting to secure that Champions League spot. That's all that matters. What a game for the kid on the far right, Ciccio, who was playing like 4th or 5th division only about a month ago. I think he was playing as low as 6th division at one point in the last couple of years. He is the next money-making machine for Gasperini and Atalanta, the sort of player that goes from being worth, 120K to about 2 million in the space of 1 goal like that, and then give him like 3 or 4 more games for Atalanta, and all of a sudden you're sitting on a 9.5 to 12 million euro player. Brilliant to see him score a goal. Inter are exceptionally lucky that Atalanta are out of form and need to rely on youngsters like this to bail them out. Atalanta, unfortunately, they're destined to not make Champions League this season. In my opinion, and as was agreed by a panel a couple of weeks ago, they are the biggest disappointments of the campaign so far. So much so that the top 4, even if this Scudetto battle doesn't go their way, they know that the Champions League football should be secure, locked up, and you get that sort of momentum going into the next campaign. Ciccio Caputo celebrating, Stefano Sensi playing minutes consecutively and not getting injured, right? Sampdoria win 2-0 in Hipster FC's home park. Venezia, the sort of mistake from the Venezia goalkeeper, I forget his name, but like that's a Serie A level goalkeeping, man. You don't take 4 touches like your prime Manuel Neuer and you can't see a player for 40 meters while you're goalkeeping for Bayern Munich. It was ridiculous playing with the ball in his box. It was stupid. Sampdoria get another 3 points, just assuring the fact that they won't really be in a relegation fight. towards the end of the season. Good for Ciccio Caputo to score. Good for Stefano Sensi to get minutes. Maybe he comes back to Inter and does well. Speaking of doing well, Sassuolo 4, Spezia 1. Scamacca scores from a free kick to add to his repertoire, his arsenal, his artillery. He's the dude I want now. I'm convinced he can do a better job than Dzeko. He's more versatile than anybody else on the market. I'll pay the Scamacca tax at Inter. So Marotta, Ausilio, and co. Get it sorted. Pay for Scamacca. I'm going to do a video in the next couple of weeks at one point that's pretty much called Operation Raid Sassuolo. Fratesi, Scamacca, Raspadori, Berardi in such good form. You got a dobletta in this game as well. This Sassuolo side is just stacked with talent. I know a couple of more experienced Serie A fans that I know and speak to might say, like, just be careful. There's a lot of hype. They need to do it more consistently and for big teams. But every player that we're speaking about in this Sassuolo team has already earned their transfer to a bigger club, in my opinion. Whether they shine and thrive there is subject to opinion and subject to result. And I guess, you know, paying Serie A tax and Scamacca tax, Raspadori tax, Berardi tax. What does that mean? Well, let's face it. Scamacca's probably worth about 25, 30. He'll cost 40. Raspadori's worth 25. He'll cost 35. Berardi, I actually think he's justified now at 25, 30, whatever you want to pay for him. Fratesi's probably worth about 20, 22. You end up paying 35 for him. It's Serie A tax. It's Sassuolo tax. Dzeko misses so much easy goals. Scamacca would finish them. That's my thoughts exactly, bro. My thoughts exactly. He will finish them. So I'm all aboard. I'm all aboard the hype train there. Big result for Sassuolo. Spezia, don't consider them safe just yet. I don't consider them safe just yet. Big win for Il Grifone. Big win for Genoa. They finally got their first home win of the campaign, I believe. It's their first win under their new boss after 7 straight draws, which means they've got 10 points in their last 8 games. Is that more? Oh, God, that's more than Inter, I think, man. That could be more than Inter. That's bad. If that's bad, that's horrible. But the fact that they got their win means they're not out of this relegation fight either. They need to win a couple more games. They need to put some results together. To be one man down against Torino for as long as they were, good on them. Good on Genoa. It was really good to see them get that result, and you really saw what it meant to the fans when they celebrated behind the goal at the end. So big ups to Genoa. They performed really well to get that result and deserved it. Guys, that's all we're going to have time for on the Serie A Roundtable / Roundup, whatever you want to call it for today. Thank you to the few people who checked in the chat. It was really nice to see some faces. More so, thank you so much to the gentlemen who sent in fan cams. Anth, Armando, Ciccio, Michele, and did I forget? And Adam as well. I really appreciate it. Guys, if anybody's watching and wants to get involved in the Serie A Roundtable for football worldwide, you know where to DM, where to PM. Thank you so much. Forza Calcio, Forza Serie A, and Forza Italia, man. Like, we've got 2 World Cup qualifiers coming up before we need to play Juventus, and the next ball is kicked in Serie A. There could be a disaster zone on this channel, and we might even have kicked the ball yet for the next match day. Or there could be elation, there could be joy, and there could be relief, man. I honestly don't know if I can go through another World Cup without Italy in there, but we'll see what happens there. That's a stress for another time, not today. My name is Anthony.